Long time coming, but we do have a program we got to get through real quick. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm Hamilton County Commission President Alicia Reese, but I want to bring forward to welcome us right here to the township, our Colerain Township Administrator, Jeff Webeck.
Thanks, Alicia. And thank you all for coming out to Colerain today. We are so excited to have you guys visit us. This is quite the project that's been a long time in the making, and probably the single largest public investment that we've seen in the western part of our community in a really long time. We appreciate all the partners that are here today and hope that you all spend a little bit of time learning a little bit more of Colerain on your way out. And we're looking forward to seeing all of our public safety folks over the coming decades visiting us out here in Colerain Township. And I appreciate the welcome, and we'll turn it back over to President Reese. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Today is a very historic day. So please take a lot of pictures and put it in the library, because each of the people that are here, and some who are unable to be with us, some who have passed on, who was working on this issue for such a long time, we finally got here. And I think that deserves a big round of applause. This today is showing what collaboration, intergovernmental, city, village, township, community, county, engineers, police, safety, when we all come together, from Washington to Hamilton County, to the villages, to the townships. And I think that deserves a big round of applause. Now, each speaker will come forward, and if we had a speaker for every person that had something to do with it, we'd be here all night long. So I want to say now, so no one will say they were left behind. Let's give a big round of applause for everybody that was a part of it. Standing ovation. Yes, yes. You have been recognized. With that, I know there'll be some things that I forget, and those who come up to forget, because it's so much and so historic. When we talk about environmental justice, when we talk about little babies hearing gunshots, when we talk about community, there's always been either the wheel and not the money, or the money and not the wheel. We finally got the money and the wheel together to get this done. When I gave my state of the county, one of the things that I said is that I want to have a shovel in the ground. And today, we're going to have a shovel in the ground. And I'm so excited, and I want to thank God, because I always believe God is the master planner. He's the one that puts the right pieces at the right time. And I want to thank him and give him the credit. But I also want to speak on behalf of our board, and each of us will make comments. Now, this project is $31 million plus. And one of the major roles that we played was that we came up with 20 million of the 31 million. We had to make some choices. We had some ARPA money, we had general fund money, but we said, no, we're going to put up the $20 million and close this gap. And that deserves a big round of applause. So when you ask, is our board bold, I don't think you get more bolder than this. And no one had to force us to do it. We just needed the money, and we stood up and said, we're going to do it. So I'm very excited about that. I want to thank all of the collaborators in this. We've got mayors and council. You'll hear from Lincoln Heights. We want to thank the Woodlawn mayors here, Evendale mayors here, United States Senator Sherrod Brown. We got federal money to put into this project. And I want to give him a big round of applause, his staff. Princeton School District, the superintendent, former superintendent, he was on radio every day And also the Heights movement is here. Give them a round of applause. And Princeton. Great Parks was involved. Give them a big round of applause. Cincinnati Police Chief and our Sheriff, McGuffey, was involved. Give him a big round of applause. University of Cincinnati with the health experts. Give them a round of applause. But let me say that 70 years is too long. It's too long. And we're here today to close the gap on a 70-year journey of justice, of doing the right thing, of safety, and of action. And I'm just proud that I'm able to have been there to vote on this money. I'm proud that those around, some of them were here, are able to still live to see this happen. And once again, I'm here to say, today is a good day. All right, we're going to get this thing moving and grooving because we got a lot of people, a lot of history. Somebody got to write the history books on this. A lot of history of how we got here. But I will say today we're doing the shovel in the ground. But I've also asked, was Jeff Valuto here? There he is, the administrator right here. Jeff Valuto, give him a big round of applause. All the staff from the county, put your hands up to make this happen. And you all are my witness. I told Jeff Valuto I want this on the fast track. All right, this time it gives me great pleasure to present one of my colleagues, Vice President of the County Commission, Denise Driehaus.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. You know, sometimes you can judge how big of a deal something is by the amount of people that turn out. This is a big deal. This is a big deal, and we're super excited. We're all super excited about this project finally turning some dirt. The engineers here, I do want to recognize Eric Beck. We're on it's kind of it's county property, but Eric manages that property. Thank you, Eric, for being as generous as you have been to say, yes, put it here, we'll get off the property. And that's exactly what he's doing on that piece of the property. So we are on this journey together. The journey's not over, but we're getting there. But we've all been journeying together related to this project. And so I do want to recognize, put a little finer point, Sherrod Brown's office was so critical to this effort. The state of Ohio and Cindy Abrams and Catherine Ingram both helped get some state money for the project. The sheriff and the engineer from the county administration has been mentioned. City of Cincinnati, couldn't have done it without the City of Cincinnati. The administration and CPD. Couldn't have done it until they said, yes, let's do it. The Colerain Township trustees, Kathy Ulrich is here. Thank you for being here. And then Evendale, Woodlawn, and Lincoln Heights and the Heights movement. So I just want to talk just very briefly about this journey because it's what it's been. I became aware of this problem about 5 years ago or so. I got a letter from somebody from Lincoln Heights that was talking about the gun range it's in Evendale, but it's in Lincoln Heights. The effects are in Lincoln Heights. And how difficult it was for these kids that live in this community, have gunshots going off every day in their community. And I was asked to come out. And I said, yeah, I'll come out. And so I stood on the playground and listened to the gunshots. And I thought, oh, we got to do something about this. And realized that it was the city that owned the CPD gun range. And so we needed to partner with the city. And so that started this journey of connecting with the city. We had a meeting at City Hall so that the city would understand the impact of what this gun range was, what it was having on these communities, because I don't think that understanding was there. And so we just needed to raise awareness. And the mayor, Aftab, and Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney were willing to champion this with Teresa, I call you Teresa Thiege. I know that's not right. We're West Siders. But it took that to kind of change the conversation about who the partners could be in this, along with the folks in the Heights movement in Lincoln Heights, raising the awareness about the impacts, the negative impacts of what was going on in Lincoln Heights. So we had a bunch of internal meetings. We had a meeting in Colerain Township. This could not have happened without the support of Colerain Township. Colerain Township understood that what we're putting here is a new regional safety complex with acoustic tiles on top. So whatever noise you hear from this gun range today, you're not going to hear that in the future because the technology has advanced so much that this will be a benefit then to Colerain Township and the increased police presence, as was just mentioned by Jeff Weckbach. And so it's a win for Colerain Township. The county had an architect make some designs to make sure we could all understand what we were actually looking back, make CPD and sheriff comfortable with the number of lanes and what it looked like, and then understand what the financial stack was going to be. Because in the end, that was the challenge. It was a financial stack. I mean, it's a $31 million project, as Commissioner Reese said. That's an expensive project. And so we had to put the stack together. Sherrod Brown's office through Joyce Powdrell. We had meeting after meeting after meeting about this, and finally got the stack together with the federal government, the state government, the county, the city of Cincinnati, all coming together collaboratively to say, yes, this is an investment we want to make. This is a top priority for all of us, and here we are. And so I don't want to hear anybody talk about how there's no collaboration between the city and the county, because here we are collaborating in a huge project. And I see many city council members here. So anyway, it's a thrilling moment, really, for all of us. We've all been on this journey in different ways, but we've all been on this journey together. And so it's so gratifying to have everybody here to celebrate. And so I'm turning it over to my colleague, Commissioner Summerall Dumas, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This journey began for me in 2011 when I was the village manager of Lincoln Heights. And I realized when I left there in 2015 that I needed to be in a position where there was more money flowing, where I had more power and authority. And I will say, when I ran for county commissioner in 2018 and took office in 2019, this subject was one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a Hamilton County commissioner, because I thought I could make a change. I thought I could bring it to the forefront. Of course, this is a time of celebration. But I am a firm believer that in order to move forward, you have to know about where you have come from. Lincoln Heights was incorporated in 1947, which was the same year, ironically, that the gun range opened, same year. We keep saying that it's been over 70 years that people have been trying to get the gun range out of Lincoln Heights. Well, it's actually been 77 years since it opened. And it's been 4 generations of trauma. Exactly 28,123.67 days that the people of Lincoln Heights have had to experience this. 674,968.14 hours that they had to go through this. 40,498,88.4 minutes that the residents of Lincoln Heights have experienced this. Let's fast forward. I don't want to put a bummer on anything, but I want you to know the truth. And I am so emotional with this. I'm going to keep it together, though. Let's forward to 2020. I assigned my chief of staff, Bishop Bobby Hilton, to make this a priority of our office. But 2020 was a pivotal year. Community meetings were held. I presented a resolution to the board to relocate the gun range in 2020. Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Kearney called for a public hearing at City Hall. While there, I saw a video of Alicia Franklin's 4-year-old son. I don't know if she's here. And her son was holding his ears because of what the sounds were doing to his ears. There was a doctor there from UC, and he talked about the damage that is being done to that area, and also our county health commissioner. We never stopped with the effort to make this happen. I was naive enough to think, well, when they see this baby covering his ears, it's over. We're going to do this right away. Regardless, we're doing it now. We stopped calling the gun range Lincoln Heights Gun Range. It doesn't belong to Lincoln Heights. It's an Evendale gun range, and they shouldn't have to take ownership of that. So the board decided to make it the gun range. And now it'll be called the Hamilton County Regional Safety Complex. I want to thank all our partners that were mentioned earlier that made funding for this project a priority. We're not done yet with this mission, but we're much farther ahead than we have ever been, and I pledge to keep the momentum going. Thank you.
As was mentioned earlier, we could not do this without the city of Cincinnati and having the understanding of how important this project is. The champion of that is Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. If she will come forward. And I don't know if City Manager Long is, I know she's getting the dot and the I's and the T's for us. But Jan Michelle, please give her a big round of applause. She took this on. Thank you.
This moment is historic. You know, there are a lot of people on the speakers list, but there's some who are not on the list that I would like to talk about. So that's what I'm going to take my minute to talk about. It might be more than a minute, but not much longer. So first of all, you know, I was at Just Qing, and this was in, you know, late 2020, probably in the spring or summer. Senator Sherrod Brown was there. He was standing on one side of me. He was having some kind of reception. Durance Daniels, Lincoln Heights City Council member, walked in. I didn't know Durance. I didn't know who he was. And they were talking across me, you know, which is kind of rude, but that's okay. I'm standing in the middle, and they're talking, and Durance says, Senator, we've got to do something about this gun range. We've got to do something about this gun range. And so I said, wow, this is interesting. He's probably talking about that gun range that they've been talking about moving for decades. I wonder what, you know, this young man thinks is about to happen. Next thing I knew, Renee Mahaffey Harris, Center for Closing the Health Gap, and Durance, and Aaliyah Brown, who was Senator Brown's chief of staff, called me up, and they said, we need you to step up with the city to get this thing done. And I said, well, you know, I just got on council. I'm gonna take on like this kind of loser issue, but they're like, we need you to do it. I said, okay, well, it is about environmental justice. We know we need justice. And so the meeting that everybody keeps talking about that happened October 6, 2020 was their idea. They said, let's show everybody the impact of the gun range. And the next step is to see if we can get commitment from all the parties involved. And so we had that meeting. Everybody came. Thank you, all of you. You know, folks came, our leaders came from Lincoln Heights, from Woodlawn, from Evendale. City of Cincinnati council people were there. Colerain Township folks were there. People came from everywhere. And our police chief at the time was Chief Isaac. He had to go out of town. But the assistant police chief, Teresa Thigi, was there. And so we had this meeting. And at the end of it, Assistant Police Chief at the time, Thigi, said, we've got to move this gun range. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what? And after she said yes, nobody has said no. It has been yes all the way. We've had a lot of hurdles, a lot to do. Denise Driehaus, we were trying to talk about how many meetings she called, because at one point we were looking at lots of different locations, and Denise kept saying, you need to come here. The city needs to collaborate with the county. And so that's what we're doing. And I want to give Matt Waller from Colerain Township the credit for saying, you know, we're not talking about a gun range. We're talking about a regional safety complex. And we're like, that's what we're going to call it, a regional safety complex where the city, the county, feds, everybody can come together and work together, and also bring something good to the Colerain Township community and move something that is outdated and no longer has a place in Evendale, right next to Lincoln Heights and Woodlawn. And so I just want to say this is the power of community working together for the good, and this is historic. I don't know where in the country this has ever happened before. So give yourselves a round of applause, and thank you for your support. I should also, and okay, I just, you know, I can't sit down without mentioning, of course, my colleagues who are here. So, okay, Seth Walsh, Councilmember Seth Walsh, Councilmember Anna Albee, Councilmember Scotty Johnson, Councilmember Mark Jeffries, and of course, our city manager, Cheryl Long.
The next person that we're going to have come up, she started in the fight. She was city manager, village manager, and then went on to become representative of United States Senator Sherrod Brown. And it meant a lot, like you said, went from meeting to action to money. Please welcome Joyce Frazier Powdrell, representing United States Senator Sherrod Brown.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, the senator can't be here, but he wanted me to let you know, and I think most of you already know, that this project is such a meaningful project to him. And he's always asking me for updates on this project, so now I can go back and say it is done. So thank you for all the people that have worked with us in getting this to where it is today. So I appreciate all of your hard work. It definitely is a case study in collaboration, so thank you. I'm just going to read a letter on behalf of Senator Brown. Dear friends, thank you to the Hamilton County Commissioners, Cincinnati Mayor and Council members, and everyone who played a role in making today possible. Today's groundbreaking of the Regional Safety Complex is a victory for the entire community. The best ideas don't come from Washington, they come from the Ohioans like you. And that's exactly what happened here. Community leaders told me about this problem and about the damage to children hearing gunshots day after day, week after week, year after year. It was clear we needed to make this project a priority. So we went to work figuring out how to relocate the range to a remote area so officers would still be able to do the training and practice they needed. And Ohioans in Lincoln Heights would not have to live with constant gunfire anymore. I made sure Ohioans got their fair share of the funding to make it happen. The $4 million of congressionally directed spending we secured was the catalytic investment needed to move this project forward. Relocating this gun range will mean a little more peace and quiet for the residents in the area. It will mean our children and grandchildren aren't going to grow up hearing gunshots. And it will mean a new, improved facility for the officers and deputies across the region who keep our communities safe. Generations of Lincoln Heights and Woodlawn residents lived with this disruption in their community and the damage to their children. And although at times they may have felt powerless to change that, thanks to their perseverance, change is coming. My job is to be your advocate and to find solutions that deliver for our communities. So keep coming to my office with ideas and requests, and together we will continue to improve the quality of life in our communities. Thank you, Senator Sherrod Brown.
Thank you. As mentioned, we couldn't do it without our state delegation. We got state money. And I'd like to call up both State Representative Cindy Abrams as well as Senator Catherine Ingram.
Well, thank you for having us. And State Representative / former Senator Cecil Thomas is here too, right?
/
There we
former police officer.
Well, right, yes.
But he couldn't shoot that way.
Former CPD. Well, we could talk about our shooting. We'll do that in a minute.
Former resident of Lincoln Heights. Oh, that's right.
That's right. Okay.
Lucky you.
It's a very exciting day, of course. We're all excited to go to bat for this funding at the state level. And we understand the importance of top-notch training. Training truly saves lives. This state-of-the-art regional safety complex is going to be partnership, as we heard, with our local, state, and federal partners, which, quite frankly, commissioners, that's the only way to work is together, right? we are proud that we advocated for the state funding for this project, and it's going to be really important. And as a former Cincinnati police officer, I don't know about you, Cecil, but my favorite work day was at the range.
No, not mine.
It was. It was. I loved those days. The chief does know that. So I'm not sure about anybody else, but at the ribbon cutting for this state-of-the-art training facility, my question is, are we going to be able to send some rounds downrange? Thank you.
Thank you. I only wanted just to comment, as someone who actually grew up in Evendale, Mayor Finan, but I spent most of my time in Lincoln Heights. The saddest part about the gun range is that you heard those noises when you were there, but for decades, you didn't think much of it. It was a given. Oh, well, it's over there. But to be here today, feeding two birds with one crumb, to make sure that there's a state-of-the-art facility for training, as well as there will not be that noise, we've done what we were supposed to do through collaboration. It's important to note that we're not finished, that there are still some loose ends, because I still think that there are plenty of folks who were traumatized over those years, and that needs to be addressed also. So hopefully we'll do some of that.
I'm just going to echo everything everybody said. Collaboration is the most important aspect of this, and this is what we get when we collaborate. Thank you.
I just want to say when bipartisanship works, we finally got something. Thank you. I also would like to bring up our sheriff and our chief, because we could not have done it without them. Please come up. Two strong women. Thank you.
Sheriff, you want to go first? Thank you. Thank you all so very much. This is a very historic day, a very historic collaboration. This collaboration is designed to help the community at large. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to work with Cincinnati Police. We're excited for the partnership, and it's going to be a joint effort. You know, I want to commend Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Lemon-Kearney for moving this thing forward, because she really was a force, I want to tell you. I mean, a voice in the beginning that never, ever gave up knowing and talking about what could be here today. And, you know, this is a game changer. It is a safety complex. And, you know, what we want to do here is invite other partners, because it isn't just Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. It's not just Cincinnati Police Department. It's going to be other departments, other partners in the region who also carry firearms, who need to be trained and well-trained, who will visit this facility and be invited here. And therefore, all of Hamilton County will benefit from this partnership. And you know, I want to make this point. This is not just a gun range, all right? This is a training facility. We're not just all going to come here and just shoot guns, because we know that what law enforcement is working on and improving processes with is de-escalation. We're going to be training here for just that. We're going to be using these training classrooms for scenario training. We're going to be using these classrooms for cultural diversity training, for ABLE training, for so many different facets of law enforcement. And that is going to be joined by the training for weapons. But that is a part, only a part of what we do in our service to the community. So I'd like you all to please keep that in mind. As well, I'd like to say that this partnership is going to create a safe, secure, and non-invasive way to train in Hamilton County, and the people of Hamilton County, well, you're invited here, but you're not. But certainly you're a part of it, you know, and we do want you to come tour. We are going to open this up for the public. We want you to see what we're doing. We want to be very transparent about that. And with this, I'm very proud to introduce again Chief Fiji. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. So I'll make mine very brief. Yes, so back 4 years ago, we started this conversation. And prior to that, for over 20 years in my career, I heard the topic come up about moving the gun range, and it just never took on any life of its own to get it done. And so I'm happy to be a part of it with the city administration, county administration, all my other partners here to be a part of this. But I want to give you a little glimpse into a little bit different perspective. This is definitely good for the community, especially the community of Lincoln Heights. But a little different perspective is, as a law enforcement administrator, I understand the value of quality training for our officers. If you really want the best modern day law enforcement officer policing your community, we need to give them the best modern day training. And this facility will allow us to do it because it will be the best modern day facility in our region, probably across the country by the time it's finished being built. I had the distinct pleasure this morning to go out to our current target range to do my annual qualifications and shared with everybody out there, all the staff, that today was the groundbreaking in case they didn't know it. They're very excited. And of course, their first question was, when are we moving in? So I shared the timeline with them, no pressure from the construction crew, but I shared the timeline with them, and we're looking forward to it. So thank you.
Yes. When are we moving in? I can't wait. Okay, so now we're going to bring up Mayor Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey from Lincoln Heights, Mayor Brian Poole from Woodlawn, Mayor Richard Finan from Evendale. And when you come up, please introduce your colleagues because we've got a lot of council people in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Commissioner Reese. I'm so excited about where the Village of Lincoln Heights future is going to move into. And before I'm going to do my housekeeping because you give me the assignment. So I want to introduce our Vice Mayor and have all our council members stand up, please. Linda Childs Jeter. Okay. There's our newest council member. Okay. All right. And I think our former Vice Mayor is here. She's hiding in the back. Jeannie Stinson. Okay, with that being said, there's so many thank yous to give with this collaboration, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'll just mention probably their titles first. But I just want to thank the commissioners for all the work that y'all listened to us. This is the first time that we've had momentum before I even was born. They would go down, I was told they would go down to the city and each mayor, council members back in the day, and they would tell them no, the interest was not there. So I just want to thank President Commissioner Reese, Commissioner Dumas, and Commissioner Driehaus. But I just want to thank them, but they are not the only ones to thank. It was a lot of collaboration. We would not have been able to do it without the Heights movement, their awareness, them reaching out to Sherrod Brown's office, them getting the hearing, the soil testing. So I want to thank them. Not trying to take credit for just one, because we know we cannot do this just one person. We all need to, we all know that. But I remember in 2019 sending that letter out, and then we went in 2019, Colton Collins was there when we did a PowerPoint presentation, and I don't think they took us serious, but it took our vice mayor, yes, it took you along with them, to bring it to the city of Cincinnati. That's what I'm talking about. It took her along with those other collaborations that she was getting on her end, along with the commissioners and everybody else, all those different organizations to make this become a flourishing. We're so excited. I'm not going to stay here long because they did give me 2 minutes, but I will talk a little bit about growing up. I'm a prodigy of growing up in the village of Lincoln Heights. And I remember as a little girl listening to that. Now, we did not live in the projects, Mariana Terrace, but we lived in the village, like in the middle, on the upper sub part. And so for our residents, they had to listen to that. No matter really what part of Lincoln Heights that you lived in, you heard it. Whether you were down there in the lower sub on Stephens or you on the upper sub on Prairie, or whether you when Woodlawn in their subdivision, and Mayor Poole will come in and probably speak about that. But to be able to endure that when you're trying to raise kids, being able to endure that when you're trying to move your village forward, when you're trying to know that your revenue streams are not where you would like them to be, and you know that you want to improve your economic development, but you're not able to do that because nobody wants to move in the village of Lincoln Heights and listen to that. It's really hard to sell your community when you're subject to listening to gunshots day after day. But I'm thankful. The village of Lincoln Heights is so thankful for this day. It finally has came, and I know we have our phase 1 and phase 2 to get through, but it's a thankful day that we are so happy. God be the glory. So I just wanted to say that, and just say that our future shines bright in the village of Lincoln Heights. God bless you.
Good evening. We need those spectators. Before I move further in some comments, in fact, we shut the entire village down today so that our administrative team could come out and witness this great day is what we call it. So I have back there my village manager, Mr. Tim Engel, my finance director, Mr. Lonnie Chris. I see my council members, Ms. Rosemary Brown in front of me. I know Vice Mayor Cindy Chandler is in the house, Michelle Starr, and I believe I've seen Esther Boyd and Pam Fitzgerald. Again, we did bring our team down here so that we could all celebrate together. Before I go into my notes, there's one thing that I have to get off of my heart and make sure that I send it up high. And in 2019, when I got involved with the gun range and all of the particulars that was going to come behind that, I served at that time as the vice mayor. So I want to make sure that I look up and I just say to Susan Upton Farley, who is our former mayor, that we did it. We did it, Susan. And she told me to stay in the gap until it is done. So I think I lived my promise to her, but I just want to let her know that this is a great day. So with that being said, today is a great day. And the village of Woodlawn, along with our neighbors in Lincoln Heights and the village of Evendale, have been impacted by this gun range for decades. While our residents, especially those on the east side of Woodlawn, are certainly looking forward to afternoons and evenings that no longer include the sound of gunfire, the timing of this project is truly miraculous. The village of Woodlawn has been working diligently to install new sidewalks as well as finalize plans related to our most traveled roads that includes accommodations for bikes and other alternative forms of transportation. These quality of life improvements were further enhanced by the movement of the gun range and the establishment of new safety complex, as nobody wants to go for a bike ride or a late evening walk and hear gunfire. On behalf of the village of Woodlawn, its residents, I would like to thank the Hamilton County Commissioners, the Hamilton County Sheriff Department, the City of Cincinnati, the Police Department, Senator Sherrod Brown, Representative Cindy Abrams, Governor Mike DeWine, our neighbors in Lincoln Heights and Evendale, Colerain Township, all related staff members, as well as all other state, county, and local offices that made this project possible. You have answered the decades of long prayers and have made an immeasurable impact in the village of Woodlawn as our neighboring communities. We say in Woodlawn, we getting ready to have a party. Thank you so much.
I will introduce David Elmer, who's our village administrator, and David Harwood, who is here today as a member of our CIC, Community Improvement Corporation. My approach is a little different. I started with John Cranley, was mayor of Cincinnati, and I pitched to him the gun range for economic development purposes. 35 or 40 acres, and I felt it could be used for that. Now we have moved on with that, and we have a bill pending in the Ohio General Assembly, and I've got members of the General Assembly here who will maybe listen to me. It's Senate Bill 75. It's already passed the Senate. It's sitting in the House and not moving. it would allow for creation of a JED between two communities, Evendale and the other ones, and it would provide economic progress for those communities. Now, you've got 4 or 5 days left in this session of the General Assembly, and I want you to get to work and get it going and pass it. Thank you.
You know he comes from the Ohio General Assembly, right? Those are the kind of battles we have up there. Now listen, I didn't make the program, but we're now at a point of getting photos. Oh, rain is coming, so we got to hurry up and get photos. Okay, one of the things I want to make sure on the photos, we'll get the photos. Bridget will tell us how we're going to line up. And I want to make sure not only do we get some photos, I want photos of people who are from Lincoln Heights. I want them to get a photo. In addition, Woodlawn, Lincoln Heights, you all get a photo. The members, I'm not talking about just elected officials, okay? So you'll get those. We'll get a couple photos. So Bridget will tell us where to go. But ladies and gentlemen, it has begun. The Hamilton County Regional Safety Complex. And then I want a photo with the Heights movement. So let's get different photos, okay? All right, thank y'all so much, and God bless you. Photo. Harry looks the camera.
I was him.
Got it? Over there. Yeah. I know. Got it? Okay. For history. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now just stand here with your. He's gonna take another one.
I need this one man.